This is an example of gravitational potential energy.
Leah just hung the ornament on the tree. That is an example of gravitational potential energy because the potential energy is energy being stored, and it's also gravitational potential energy because gravity is also pulling it down, but nothing's happening. This is elastic potential energy.
The elastic potential energy is potential energy because we're stretching the elastic on the ornament.
And it's like being stored there because we haven't really released it yet.
Are we done? Beep. Oh, I love this song.
This is an example of motion because Leah walked from the stereo to the tree in a matter of seconds, and motion is the rate of change.
This is an example of speed. Speed is a scalar quantity of how fast an object is moving. Doug moved across the room in a matter of seconds. Oh, hello. It's time for a break. Time to get some hot chocolate.
Leah just used velocity because velocity is a rate at which an object changes its position. And Leah changed position to go get hot chocolate.
Ding!
Oh, my hot chocolate's ready.
This is an example of acceleration because Doug sped up from his position next to the tree and accelerated by moving faster. And now that's deacceleration because he's stopped moving fast, which is another form of acceleration.
Oh. This is an example of Newton's first law of motion, where an object in motion tends to stay in motion, or an object at rest tends to stay at rest until blocked by another force. This is an example because when Leah dropped the ornament, the ball rolled over until it hit the door.
Hey Doug, did you hang those snowflakes yet?
Oh, that'd be a really great idea because it's like in addition to our tree. That was an example of kinetic energy because kinetic energy is like energy in motion. And that was an example because I threw the snowflake backwards and it landed on the tree.
Oh.
This is gravity. Gravity is a force that pulls stuff down. This is an example of gravity because Leah dropped the ornament from the tree and the ornament fell onto the ground.
What's up, Leah? Ow.
This is an example of Newton's second law of motion because Newton's second law of motion states the acceleration of an object depends upon its mass and the applied force. This is an example of a balanced force because Leah and the ground are balanced because nothing's happening even though Leah's only standing on one leg.
Loser.
This is an example of force.
Force is when you put work on an object, and the more mass the object has, the more force you have to exert on the object to move it.
This is an example of force because I was throwing the football at Leah and I was exerting a force that made me throw the football at her.
And it hit the matchbox at a match. Okay, fire.
This is an example of friction because friction is where you exert a force on another object. This is an example because Leah and Megan rubbed the match against the matchbox.
Doesn't this tree just look great?
No, it looks terrible. You suck at life.
What?
I spent so much time on this. You're just gonna
Well, they all look
criticize
bad.
me like
They just
this?
look all
No!
out of order.
Stop!
Your ornaments are terrible.
Stop! Stop!
This is an example of Newton's third law of motion because Newton's third law of motion is where every action has the same reaction. Leah punched Megan in the face, and then Megan's face punched Leah back, and the reaction was where Megan's head went flying backwards.